Alright, hello. This is just me trying to make a wee series for myself, just to record my Blender progress. I did it before, but I kind of got carried away with games, and I thought that I hadn't touched Blender since June, but going back in now, it seems to be the 1st of January, so it's been, what, 11 months? Almost 12 months since then. So I need to get back into it. This is just my series for about 2 hours a day. Hopefully, upload a video 2 hours a day every day. Try and keep myself track. Um, it says I've been away for like 11 months now, almost 12 months, and I can't really remember the hotkeys or anything like that. The part where I stopped was in the middle of Brand Sculpt's tutorial, part 9. I don't know if I should continue or not, but I'm going to try and see if I remember where I am. Just the date is the 20th of the 11th, 25, so I'm just going to use that as a timestamp. And I've got the video up on the side. I haven't optimized my OBS too much for the window yet. I'll try and get that sorted for the next video, but yeah, let's see where I am. So it was kind of like I can't even remember the hotkeys. Like I think it was just tab was that. I saw Blender 5 came out on the 18th, which is sort of just over a week ago. So it might have been good because I remember they were trying to do updates for anime style and stuff like that, which I was kind of waiting on. Since I'm still new to Blender. I have, well, say new. I'm about what? We were 450, $600 into it. I did record my stuff before I stopped, but then I accidentally uploaded something from not safe for work person, their fault of them using Blender, and that got the previous one banned. So that's kind of what caused the almost 1 year break. But back again, get it back at it. Let's go. So you won't be able to see the video, the tutorial on this video, but it says the next time it will be on there. You will hear it in the background, so enable the audio, but it says it's Brand Sculpts and part 9 of his Blender character sculpt tutorial. So
This is usually as far as I would go with a sculpt like this, but if you want to add certain kinds of like better textures or something in it, I know I've been avoiding getting you to download any add-ons at all, like we've been using everything that's in Blender, but if there is one add-on that I think would be really helpful to download, it would be Blender Kit. So you go to blenderkit.com,
I did that part,
and then you click install. Wherever you saved it at, you would open it up.
I don't know, can you see this? Let's see. Yeah. You can't see, right? Hide OBS again. I can't remember anything at all, so I'm gonna have to refind everything. Preferences. Was it here or was it? Yeah, edit actually wasn't it? This interface, add-ons, okay. Imported with previous add-ons. Node Wrangler still on there. Tie. Blender Kit is on. Okay, so I did do that part. Okay.
And then to add-ons, and then you click install. Wherever you saved it at, you would open it up and then install it, and then you would come in here and check the box to turn it on, and then it would install this bar at the top here, and it's also on the right over here. So let's say we wanted to find a leather texture. You come over here and click on the texture box, type in leather, and then once it's on the texture box, type.
Oh, this is interesting. This is new stuff now. Okay, model. I've never seen this stuff before. Okay, so is it this? Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, it's the numpad delete or punctuation mark to get close in. So leather, yeah, I remember doing this before. Just gotta retrace this to remember.
Type in leather, and then once it finds.
I'm not in materials. Yes, that's what. Yeah, that's what it. That's the same material. Very nice. Then they get that on.
Some leather materials, all you have to do is just click and drag it onto whatever you want to add this texture to. I'm going to add it to this leather band around her waist. And then give it a second, it'll download it, and it will go ahead and apply it to whatever it is. And you see, now that it's on here, it looks a little weird, but we can go down here to the shader editor with this selected, and we can see
shader editor. Is this one on it? That is not a good UV, but you know, that's getting the add-ons. And that's
all of the nodes that are
very
associated
different
with this
from what he shows
texture.
in his video.
And in order to make this not look so huge, say we could come down here to the scale, select all three of these, and then pull it to the right, and bring it up. And then our leather belt looks actually like leather. So yeah, you can do this with pretty well anything. If you want to add this extra, if you want to use these textures or something like that, like let's say for her pants, like I like the color and everything, but it would be nice if it had a nice texture. Like I want a normal map for it. So what I would do is usually I would add a UV sphere and kind of get it out of the way a little bit. And then I would search for fabric. And then I'd look for a fabric that's got a texture to it, like this basic fabric here. I want to drag it over to my sphere. And now with the sphere selected and the new fabric texture, I'm going to zoom out here. I'm going to look at everything that's connected to this normal map. I'm going to select all of this stuff here. I'm going to right click and copy it. And then I'm going to go into my pants. I'm going to paste all this in here and then just plug this into the normal. Now if it doesn't show up, you're noticing that it isn't showing up in your normals here, then that's because we need to unwrap it. Tab into edit mode, and let's unwrap.
You know what? Let's get this sorted now. Yeah, with me just sitting here listening and not doing anything, it'll be hard to follow. So I'll get me OBS set up for this part now. Actually, this side window capture. I'm gonna download the video on the side. Give Brandcast obviously a like, cause I give a like. But if I do it as a download it and open it as a VLC, you can use the OBS application audio capture for VLC, and that way, if I accidentally click anything on I was gonna say Google Chrome, I'm using Opera now. If I click anything on the web browser, it won't actually show up. So, um, window capture. Okay, specific window, VLC. Okay, capture cursor, capture audio. Yes, put that on there now. Capture window, rename VLC. I should have probably got this set up before. Isn't it Alt to move that up? Yes, move that bottom bar. Make this bigger again. Alt to bring this down. All right. Wait a minute. Hold on. Something's wrong. That is not capturing right. Oh no. When to capture it. It is capturing the, like you can see the play box and stuff. Hold on. You can't see the video? That's not right. Okay, so we gotta do is a game capture? Okay, whatever. Hook rake recommended. Okay, yep. I haven't got the things. I was just doing a previous recording that I was doing before to make sure it worked. So I'm gonna make this about half the size. Well, actually, no. Should I just make it bigger? No, I'll make it about this. I'll try and I'll work it out when I get there. Video's about halfway down anyway. Hate that for now. I'll continue now whenever it's down. I'll move it.
Ramp this. I'm going to put a seam here, and I'm going to put 2 down here on the leg holes. And then I'm going to put 1 and then just plug this into the normal. This basic fabric here. I'm going to drag it over to my sphere. And now with the sphere selected and the new fabric texture, I'm going to zoom out here. I'm going to look at everything that's connected to this normal map. I'm going to select all of this stuff here. I'm going to right click and copy it. And then I'm going to go into my pants. I'm going to paste all this in here and then just plug this into the normal. Now if it doesn't show up, you're noticing that it isn't showing up in your normals here, then that's because we need to unwrap it. Tab into edit mode, and let's unwrap this. I'm going to put a seam here, and I'm going to put 2 down here on the leg holes. And then I'm going to put 1 running up this side. For things like pants, I like to put the seams where you would normally see seams. Then we'll go unwrap it. Now when we view it in object mode, you can see this texture on it, but it's actually it's not a color texture or anything. It's the normal map. So it's telling the light how to bounce off of this object. Now we can come down here, we can click and drag down to select all of these and then scale it up. And now you see that that fabric has that texture on it. So just by using the normal map off of this fabric material, we're able to make our pants look a little bit more realistic. And we can do the same thing with the other parts of the clothes if you want to. But let's look for some gold. I like this damaged gold material. I'm going to drag that over to my sphere. That looks pretty cool. So I'm actually just going to change this over to the damaged gold. It'll show up over here in the materials. Gold damaged. But you can see that it's a little too blurry looking. Let's edit the scale. Let's bring the scale up. And I'm actually going to switch out all of my gold.
Actually, I think this is actually where I was exactly. So, slash just the app, and then it was.
Gold pieces. You can see how different everything's already looking. And really, we can put that damage scale up. Gold damaged. Gold damaged. This over material, I'm going to drag that over to my sphere. That looks pretty cool. So I'm actually just going to...
Alright, so what are we doing here again? So it was click this. Object material, rough gold. Is this? Eh? That's not rough gold. What the frick? Let's see how I did this.
Change this over. What the frick is that? I don't even know what that stuff is.
I like better or not? I don't know. I would say it does, yeah.
Over to the damaged gold, it'll show up over here in the materials. Gold damaged. But you can see that it's a little too blurry looking. Let's edit the scale.
No, that's too. Hold on. That's probably better. Now, gold. Gold thresh material. Just change this to. Change this to. Yes, it's better. And change this to gold scratch. Now, how do you get rid of old materials? Let's see if I can find this out. Remove old materials from Blender. Remove orphan? Blender will automatically delete unused materials when you save the file, but if you realize over running long, you can delete the materials from the layer display, orphan data. They go to materials. Okay, let's see. Unused data, materials, delete. Oh, X, delete. Okay. 90 unused images. I don't even want to look at that crap. Okay, that's interesting though. I actually didn't even know that. I've been used to say it's about $450, $600 maybe or something before, and still didn't even know that. Yeah, it's kind of messy. Is this? Yes, darn note. Okay, do that.
Scale. Let's bring the scale up. And I'm actually going to switch out all of my gold pieces. You can see how different everything's already looking. And really, we can put that damaged gold on the sword. Let's just change the metal material out with the gold, damaged gold. And then we'll click the new material button and we'll just change the color over to a silverish color. We'll also apply it to this. And while we're at it, we might as well make this damaged too. Okay, for this black part, let's just look for burn. See if we can find something that looks burnt. Let's just go with this burn wood here. We'll drag it right on it.
Yeah, and this is really need the video, but he's making a sword. I decided to just go with a dagger. You know, try to be a wee bit different. That
looks pretty cool. Let's pull this up. And it looks like there's nothing that we can use to scale this. So what we can do is we can click on any of these image textures and hit Control T, and it'll automatically add a mapping and a texture coordinate node. Now let's add this vector.
This just follow along, even though I don't think I need to do it. Yeah, Control T adds this to whatever you're clicking on. So like if this was bat selfie, Control T, it would make this wee map and group. It's just all this seems to be done already. This is one hell of a messy UV, but you know, I don't have to deal with it right now. I'm normally quite picky about that.
To the other image textures that control everything else here. Okay, now we should be able to scale these.
That's interesting. In the video, he's making this go to each of them, whereas here it just comes to this one, and then it just like branches out.
Now it looks like a burnt up piece of wood. Alright, I'm going to add this fabric to the rest of this stuff. Now as you add these textures in, these PBRs, your system may start bogging down, which is usually why I like to stick with just regular base colors and then just sculpt in folds and stuff like that.
Is it working there? Let's find out. Yes, it is. So, what's this? So, Alt grab it up. Oh, Alt grab, move it up. Move it up, crop part. Yes, and then we'll go find out where I was before, and then we'll follow on. So it was at 35, 18, 5, 18. You can actually follow along with me then.
Base colors and then just sculpt in folds and stuff like that because it tends to be a whole lot easier on me. And then just sculpt in folds and stuff like that. So this stuff, as you add these textures in, these PBRs, your system may start bogging down, which is usually why I like to stick with just regular base colors and then just sculpt in folds and stuff like that because it tends to be a whole lot easier on me.
Yeah, as you might have noticed, I don't really have many folds in mind because, unlike the video, I've actually kept my my polycount. Well, there's quite a lot there actually. But polycount's kind of low. His is. Let's see. Yeah, 1.6, well, nearly 1.7 million total, and mine's 119,030 Cs, so what, 14, 13 times less detail. So the stick, obviously, the sculpting of the wrinkles and stuff isn't gonna look as good, which is why I'm like kind of opting out of it. So it's just a tutorial I'm meant to be learning. I'm gonna skip the sculpting folds apart a wee bit here. Yeah, it's gonna leave like that. I could do better. His sword. It says he's doing sword. I'm not. Them cheeks though. Back to here.
So there we have it. That's both ways that you can texture. I usually lean towards the first way, using the base colors with a little bit of painting on for the face and stuff, because it's a whole lot easier on the system. And I mean, most of the time when I'm doing sculpts zoomed out about this far, where you can see the whole body and you really can't see all the details and all those textures.
Yeah, his definitely got like a more girly pose than my one. Mine's is it this way? Is it? Yeah, to a few stimulants a wee bit to walk. He's got more of a high heel thing. Mine's not. I don't know. Very different.
When you're this far away anyways. Yeah, I usually stick with the flat colors, but if you want to, you can.
Oh yeah, you might not have noticed. It's like the fate that decided to. I don't know why, but decided they had the straps down here. Well, it says don't know why, but I think it just looks nice. And it says I quite like messing with edges like that. Like this is over polyed because it actually has the inside material as well, still mesh. A lot of people will actually delete the inside and just have it be like the outer mesh, and that is it, nothing inside. But as you can see, mine has the foot inside as well as the material itself having the inside here. Where this is, they would just we normally just delete that. Hold on, did I delete that? Hold on. What did I do? Oh yeah. Oh snap, I did delete that. Okay. I take back everything I said. I can't remember. It's been that long. How did I do that? Should there not be like a crease here then? Connects. There's a penta. 1, 2, 3. 6. Yeah, whenever I first started Blender, like I was always never go more than quads. Anything more than quads is bad. But I've quickly learned that there are some times you will want 6 points, 5 points, but it's always in the name of reducing topology or making the edge flow look better. There'll always be like the 1 point where, because you're not doing the 4 points, it's hard to have like a square. Like all your images are square rectangles. That's the reason I do it, just so that the textures don't look messed up. But if you can kind of make it as square as possible or hide it behind something, like it says this point here is where it happens. So you will not see like these squares under here, and these are squares as well, and then these are squares. So like even though it is a 6 point, they are all basically squares going in there. Usually like triangles, but only because of the angle. But if you can do stuff like that, which is what I spent a lot of my time fighting with, because I hate it looking messy, even though my side is messy. Anyway, get her this. What's it again? It's this one. Yes, okay. I'll put it back in. Where does the food even go? I don't know.
Yeah, I usually stick with the flat colors, but if you want to, you can use the blend kit and you can use the free textures in there if if you're going to get close-up shots of, stuff like this. Oh, I almost forgot the eyes. Those eyes are just dark and black. I do use blend kit for the eyes. So I'll search for an eye texture. Like this is the one that I usually go with. But in order for it to work, you have to have no textures on your eyes, and you also have to have your eyes have to be pointing straight up. So let's go into side view. we'll rotate it by 90, that way it's pointing up. And if you remember, when we actually placed the eyes, we angled them a little bit, so let's try to
I just
straighten them up
I can't even
as
remember
best we can.
what the eyes are from, but it was just a random picture.
And then we can
of
drop
and stuff
the
on TV.
eye texture on, like that.
You can see his is
Go back into edit mode.
very different from mine.
We'll rotate them back down, R minus 90 to get them pointed forward again. Oh yeah, that is right. We've also got to angle them again.
Yes, make it bigger.
And for this particular eye texture, go down here to your shader editor, and you can. It's got a bunch of color ramps down here to control different things, but we can use these to control the size of the iris. Let's pull some of these sliders away because what we're wanting to get to is the black. We want to bring the black up because I want big old irises, and then
Look at the customization. That's freaking crazy.
yeah, just mess with the sliders.
I still think Coyote's days are a bit better because they're all like professional details put to them.
That's about what we want. And if you want to edit the colors, you can do that over here. Her eyes are more of a bluish green, so we'll bring this over a little bit more. But yeah, if you don't have to know everything about nodes and stuff in order to be able to, you know, make a decent looking model. It's like I said, it's mostly I like to use base colors unless it's something specific like the eyes, or you know, if I want to have this damaged metal look, I would probably go in and get that. But for the clothes, I usually don't bother with adding in normals to get these reflections that make it look like fabric, because like I said, most of the time I'm taking pictures out here, or I'm taking renders that are out here, and you can't even see that. So that's about it. I hope that wasn't too much. Next we're going to be setting up our lights and our camera, and we're going to make a background, and we're also going to animate the camera. That way it'll do a nice little spin around so you can make a showcase turn around of your character. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and alright, bye.
Yeah, it's awkward leaving as I am trying to start it up. But yeah, I just spent all that time to get the video. I watched a bit of the next one. Okay. YouTube remembers. But this means that I need to get the other video, get it done, and get it set up. Well, so again, I'm gonna have to. I would normally have this all set up before, but first time setting up in almost a year, so I'm kind of all over the place right now.
Well guys, it took us 9 videos, but we finally finished sculpting Zelda. If you're joining in without watching the other videos in the series, that's alright. This part isn't exclusive to this particular sculpt, but if you want to learn how we got to this point, you can find a link to the playlist of videos where we make this Zelda sculpt to finish in the description below. So today we're going to be making a simple backdrop. I'm going to throw in a 3-point lighting setup and make a turntable animation so we can show off our sculpt on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you like to be social with your media. And like I said before, this isn't exclusive to this sculpt. This setup is the same one that I use for most of my sculpts. Okay, so let's get started with the backdrop by adding a plane. Shift A, Mesh, Plane. We'll tab into Edit Mode. We'll scale it up a bit with S. Now let's grab these 2 back verts that are behind Zelda. We'll hit E.
Fusion, yes, that was be it. I found it.
To extrude it, and press Okay, so let's get started with the backdrop by adding a plane. Shift A, Mesh, Plane.
A plane, but I got a goddamn thing. And that's a plane.
We'll tab into edit mode. We'll scale it up a bit with S. Now let's grab these two back verts that are behind Zelda. We'll hit E to extrude it. And press Z so we can snap it on the Z axis, and let's pull it up. To extrude it. And press Z so we can snap it on the Z axis. And
Okay, I don't know if it's too big or not. Damn it. That's the other thing. I keep on hitting like hotkeys and it's changing the video, which you can't see, but you know, whatever. You'll see whenever I get it downloaded to this.
sculpt, but if you want to video below so we can show off our sculpt on. So let's get started. Extrude it and press Z so we can.
So A to extrude and then C to lock it, whatever. Okay.
Snap it on the Z axis and let's pull it up. And then let's select those same verts that are in the corner again. Press Ctrl B to bevel and then pull away. You can roll your mouse wheel to get more cuts in there. Click to accept.
Control B bevel.
And then tab back into object mode. Right click the plane and shade smooth. We can come down here to the materials and create a new material to give it some color. I'm going to go with a red for my backdrop.
Red. Just seeing what these all look like here. Outlook. Hee hee hee. Okay.
And that pretty well has our backdrop finished. Next up, let's add in a camera. Shift A, and then down here near the bottom is the camera. It's going to spawn there in the middle. Now if we hit 1 and center Zelda up on our screen.
Shift A. Press Control A. Shift A. Camera. Okay, I was okay now. That's fine.
If we press Control Alt 0, that's going to snap the camera to our position. And
Damn it! I hit one again. Control Alt 0. Numpad 0. What is with this? Mine that's way different than his one. What the fuck? Why I've got two cameras? Delete. Control Alt Numpad 0. Didn't work. 0. Didn't work. Okay, let's click this first. Maybe that. That's 0. No, didn't work. Control 0. Didn't work. Okay, play it again. Shift A, camera. Control 0. Didn't work. Okay.
Closer, and the camera 0 gives 1, and center Zelda up on our screen. If we press Control Alt 0,
But the dimensions are completely different from. Okay, so perspective mode, length 50 milliliters, 7 lens millimeters, shift clip start in 1K, fill the depth. Why does there's nothing seem to be? What's the camera 2? Where's camera 1? Right, okay. I'll worry about it later.
that's going to snap the camera to our position, and if you orbit out of the camera, you can get back into it by pressing 0. 0 gives you the view from
Numpad 0. No, that 0 isn't 0. Numpad 0. But why is it like that? His is I can't even freaking. Is it downloaded yet?
so we can show off our sculpt on. Now let's grab these 2 back verts that are behind Zelda. We'll hit E to Shift A, where it's as big as the camera. Outliner 0. Now if we hit 1 and center Zelda up on our screen, if we press Control Alt 0, that's going to snap the camera to our position, and if you orbit out of the camera, you can get back into it by pressing 0. 0 gives you the view from the active camera. So I'd like it to be a little bit closer, and the camera is selected. If it's not selected, you can kind of come over to the edge here, see where it starts to highlight, and you can click it and it'll make it active, and then you can start moving it around. You can also click it up here in the outliner to select it. With it selected, even when we're in the view, we can hit G and we can move it around. You can still snap it on whatever axis you want by hitting X or Y or Z. But you can zoom in by clicking G and then middle clicking with your mouse, and it'll zoom in and out. It's bringing the camera toward.
Is that what I've done? For new one. I'll put this down over here actually. A little better. Because the main window I mess with is at the side. So quit Blender. What did he say? G and N.
And it'll zoom in and out. X or Y or Z. But you can zoom in by clicking G and then middle clicking with your mouse, and it'll zoom in and out. It's bringing the camera towards and away from Zelda. So let's get her kind of framed up to where she's going to be as big as the camera, and we'll center her up. I'm going to keep this in this view. We'll worry about the camera settings later, but for now, let's come up to the right where your cursor turns into a plus up over here. We'll click and drag to the left to split the view. On this right view, I'm going to just put it back into solid. We're going to be paying attention to the left side to get our lighting right. And on the right side, we're just going to use this for placement. But on the left side over here, we want to get to this little drop down over here on this side, and we've kind of squished it. We can pull this out in order to get here to turn the scene lights and scene world on, but if you're squished up like this, You can scroll through this.
Right, so I don't think he's gonna address it. So how do we change the camera? What's gonna nothing to fucking do with that, does it? View, camera tool. As a tool, maybe? No. I need to frick the change the goddamn camera fucking size. Okay, let's stop. That's fine there. Blender change camera. It's not resolution. It's less. That's one for me. It's just with size or something. Blender in 1 year ago.
Hello, this is a quick video to show how to change camera aspect ratio in Blender.
Oh yeah, aspect
This is
ratio.
default scene in Blender. I will use the default camera. To set the render, I will use view and cameras and set active objects as camera. So we got the render frame that we will render. If we want to change the frame size or say aspect ratio, we can go to output properties. In the format, we have the presets here. Click the
Apple properties. Where is it? Here. Besides that, doesn't look right. Am I go crazy?
three dot menu. We can have the 4 to 3 aspect ratio, or we can have 16 to 9 aspect ratio, or we can have the 4K resolution. And go back to the default HD TV.
Did Pro. That's the default one. But it just doesn't look right. Why is it so fucking... Well, actually, this video looks right. So it's Bram Sculpt's video, just change the resolution. Okay.
Resolution. If we want to customize the resolution or say customize the aspect ratio, we can change the value here. For example, I type 1080 pixel. So we got the 1 to 1 aspect ratio. If we change the Y value, I type 1920 pixel. So we got the 16 to 9 aspect.
Grab minimize button. Okay.
With middle click. You can middle click and drag and you can move these around. So let's pull this tab down.
He definitely has a square resolution, so he does. Definitely got the... yeah, that's what his one is. So I had maybe changed mine, or maybe he's changed his. Somebody's changed theirs. I don't know who. But, yeah. Fixed. Very nice.
Turn on scene lights and scene world. In the world settings over here, your color is most likely going to be a grayish white color. and the strength's going to be all the way up to 1. I usually don't use the world colors to 1. Turn on scene lights. We can pull this out in order to get here to turn the scene lights and scene world on, but if you're squished up like this, you can scroll through this with middle click. You can middle click and drag and you can move these around. So let's pull this tab down, turn on scene lights and scene world. In the world settings over here, your color is most likely going to be a grayish white color, and the strength's going to be all the way up to 1. I usually don't use the world colors when I'm getting ready to render something. I usually just drop it all the way down to nothing, which makes it completely black. You can't see anything because, I mean, there's no light in the world. We're going to fill these with our own lights. So on this right side over here, we're going to shift A over here to light and add a point light. You can see it shows up here on the left. And we're going to make a pretty simple 3-point lighting setup.
What do we use? Why is his white? Why is his use nodes? Mine don't have use nodes. His strength 0? Ah, okay, so it's 0. 0 would mean it doesn't matter what's there. There's no strength anyway. So yeah, okay, whatever. But that's not looking. Hold on. What's his?
And scene world. In the world settings over here, your color is most likely going to be a grayish white color, and the strength's going to be all the way up to 1. I usually don't use the world colors when I'm getting ready to render something. I usually just drop it all the way down to nothing, which makes it completely black. You can't see anything because, I mean, there's no light in the
Do I have lights set up? Is that what it is? That's a light there, isn't it? It is. What the frick is this? Hide, 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 hide. Control C of see where I am. I don't think we need that anymore. Hide. Probably gonna add this anyway. Let's leave it in for now.
world. We're going to fill these with our own lights. So on this right side over here, we're going to shift A over here to light and add a point light.
Camera. No. Right there. Camera. It's in body. How do you move? Move object from collection to collection. Let's do it up. Probably as simple as just clicking and moving it actually. Hold on, let me try that. Body, camera, move it up here. Yes, okay, it was that simple.
You can see it shows up here on the left. And we're going to make a pretty simple 3-point lighting setup. So let's grab our light that we just spawned in. I'm going to go into the top view, which is 7. I'm going to move it over here to the right, and we're going to move it up. And it's really dim. From here to here, she's not getting any light on her. If we come down here to this little light bulb, that's going to be our object data properties for this light. We can change the power right here. You can change the color. You can even change the different types of lights that there are. But I usually just stick with the point lights. You can use the area light or the spotlight if you want to, or even the sunlight, but I usually stick with the point light. I'm going to change this. This is going to be our key light, what's giving us the most light, that's giving us our shapes on our faces and stuff like that. So I'm going to change the power to 1000.
Have I watched this before?
So we can move this around. I like to do it in top view, that way I can move it around the character. But I'm going to keep it round about right here. Now down here in our light settings, we've got our radius.
I'll use this side 9. The lights 7. Okay, mine's way closer to. He moves his over here. Right here.
As you pull this to the right, you can see this little circle around the light grows. And the way I like
So back to 7 for upper view.
to think of it is, the bigger this light is, the softer the shadow lines are going to be. And the smaller this light is, the tighter they're going to be. You see how we got kind of a crisp edge along our torso here? If we make this bigger, it kind of makes it a softer gradient. So I like to keep this one pretty small. I'm going to bring it over about right here. And I'm going to move it up just a bit. I want the light to come down like this. Let's select this light and duplicate it, and
Shift D on it.
I'm going to bring it down here. And now it's a little too bright.
Did it to bright. Divided by half, 500.
I'm going to change the power on this to 500. We'll cut it in half.
Good to know.
And for this fill light, I like to give it a warm color. So I'm going to go a little bit in the red and give it just the slightest pink. And I also want to grow the radius on this. That way the shadows cast by this are going to be very soft. And to finish off with the lighting, I'm going to select our first light here, the one that's got 1000 power.
See, so we did it to 5. Yes.
I'm going to duplicate it, Shift D, and I'm going to place it behind her.
Yeah, so you want one main one, and then you want the one at the side to. So the way what I got from looking at videos about the cameras is obviously you want your main light, that'll be the main focus. Then you want another one that's roughly says half the parties did there, just so it stops making the shadows like so sharp. Because the light will obviously reflect off stuff. Like nothing is a complete void that just absorbs light. Everything will reflect off, which is why you want more than one light. And so like it would hit stone or whatever, and then obviously you wouldn't think stone's reflective, but it is. It does reflect some light, which is why we have the other one. So you want your main one, then you want one that's even less power, and then you want one with even less power than that one again, just so you can kind of control where the light really should be, but at the same time, a ring's not a black hole; it sucks in all light, if you know what I mean. So that's the way what I've heard kind of about it. I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but it could be.
And I'm going to bring it down.
For me, this would be about 250, maybe less. Bring it down. Stayed.
And place it right over her shoulder. That's going to give us our rim light and kind of highlight the stuff that we did with her hair earlier. I'm also going to pump this radius up pretty big. Not really to soften any shadows up, just to make the light cover more of an area behind her to give more rim light on the edge of the